themselves on the. But it seems to be a lot of the ghost stories tend to be centred around the area that we're about to go. This stairs onwards, kind of this region of the house. The red room was a bit of a fancy lodgings for people that weren't important. Yeah. Not a lot of ghost linked to that. So this region of the house, which was the servants' region, the upstairs servants were living in that barracks there. 15 people in a relatively small space.
How many?
15 at his peak, yeah. Sleeping shoulder to shoulder. That's called Dick's garret. That's where the legend of Dick comes from. So Dick was a servant's boy who was caught stealing food in the kitchen. Yeah, Thomas sent him to the barracks to await punishment. Left him there for 3 days. He either forgot he was just being cruel. Dick eventually hung himself out of guilt, and he's said to haunt the house ever since. Dick's story goes back. It's at least 1700s, probably the 1600s. It's one of the most kind of authoritative depictions of ghosts in Aston Hall. We've had people on ghost tours claim to have seen a dead body on bed. We've got a bed in there.
Is it accessible?
No, unfortunately, it's all locked up. I haven't got the keys. Because really, technically, we're not supposed to have anyone on this space at the moment because it's the fire escape route is closed at the moment. We've got to restore the stairs, basically.
What's that important?
So this is the prison room. This is called the prison room. We do not know why it was called the prison room as early as the 1700s, but we think it's linked to the story of the White Lady. So the White Lady is probably the most famous ghost at Aston Hall. White or grey lady, depending on who's telling you the story. Some see her as grey, some see her as white. The White Lady is said to be the daughter of Sir Thomas, who she fell in love with a farmer or a commoner, and Thomas wanted her to marry for status, someone rich. So, according to the story, he locked her away in a tower. Yeah. He locked her away in a tower, and she never acquiesced. So, versions of the story, she either lived for 4 years in whatever room she locked her away in, or she starved herself to death relatively quickly. Now, the lodges on the outside look like towers, but people were always living in them, so it doesn't make sense that Thomas would ever lock her away there. But this was called the prison room, and we think it's because early people that lived here, either the servants or whatever, must have thought this was where Thomas locked his daughter away. So that's kind of what you could call ground zero for the origins of the White Lady. Now, the White Lady is probably the most spotted ghost at Aston Hall from the reports we've had, and they've largely spotted her. This is all closed off as well through this corridor here and this general space, rather than the actual room itself. That's a storage cupboard now these days. But so back in the day, if you came here about 20 odd years ago, you could come down here and explore this end of this wing of the house, which is the north wing third floor.
Are you open again soon, or?
If we get more staff, then we'll open the hall more and more. Hopefully one day. If we
get on your staff, don't we?
Yeah, come away, don't worry. Yeah, it's literally a corridor that goes here, and then there's another 3 or 4 large rooms. Why the White Lady would be haunting this corridor in particular, I couldn't tell you. I don't know of any stories that link his daughter.
Because she lived here.
Yeah, it could be that she was locked away in one of the rooms.
From one room, she knows the whole place. Like
the whole place, yeah, it's possible, but definitely.
She's settled in one place, she likes one place, so she'll probably hang out more in this place than she would anywhere else.
Yeah, well, the family and the servants, they lived on this side of the hall. That side was the show stuff that no one ever did. So it but yeah, so a lot of sightings apparently along this corridor, which kind of goes all the way down. A bit like, when we went to Lady Old's bed chamber, it's a similar corridor doors that, but on this side of the house. Where's the next wall? Yeah, the longest in Warwickshire when it was built. I don't think it is anymore, but it's longer than when it was built because they extended it by 11 feet. This is where they prepared food as well. People always think it's the toilet, but the size of this space is the size of the space above, but less headroom. So if she was ever locked away in there, it's basically solitary confinement. What, sorry? Well, I think so. Yeah, my guess is yes. If the locks are, I do not think so. Typically, basically the locks that are old are doing actually upside down because the keyhole was inverted in those days. Yeah, that's definitely not original. That's an acquisition.
Is that original?
No, definitely not. In fact, I was just looking at the provenance of that. I need to really dig in because I can't remember what date it was. Yeah, it's an old one.
What was it used for?
That's just a storage room. It's a large storage room now. Probably what was it in the day? I don't know. He said the butler's room was out on that side of the servants' quarters, and the housekeeper was living over there. These were relatively it was more important staff members, not the hoi polloi staff. Hoi polloi staff were crammed like sardines into there. 15 upstairs and 25 downstairs. They were living downstairs. Big round staff. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Other than that space and long gallery, there's not a lot of reports in all the other rooms really. So we had a guy come in yesterday. He was a former architect that worked here for a number of years, and he had a co-worker who was coming down here at night with his hand on the banister, just following it down, and he felt the presence of an old lady go past him and then rub his hand, put her hand on his hand, which apparently scared him just slightly.
So you put the hand on the face.
Yeah. Big one of these doors when you see them. There's another door behind them stopping it, but that's just access to the room that's on the other side. It's not anywhere new. It's just a through. Anywhere else where a lot of ghosts. I know one woman claimed, this was the second hand that claimed to have seen a ghost on the bottom of the Great Staircase. And that one was quite interesting because it was a demonic imp by the description, but that was a friend telling her that. From when, because obviously back in the day it was free, kids used to come and play in the hall. So a lot of the ghost stories are really from those days when people were coming and going as they pleased.
That's got to be original, isn't it?
Which one? The plank one. It's no, not to the house. I don't think so. This has been reacquired. There's almost nothing really. What can I tell you to eat? The chest of drawers in the kitchen, possibly. It's the only thing that's on them. Because Thomas was more or less bankrupt. He sold all the furniture off, so we haven't really got a lot of original furniture. But the whole alone this was a whole chest. It was the family chest. 1300s was when they acquired it, so it's 700 years old.
It's good, yeah, it's original.
And this is, whether it was in Aston Hall though, is another thing we don't know for certain. But it might have been.
This place is, yeah. I can't put words in.
Yeah, it's the biggest property in Birmingham really at the end of the day. Not many fancy homes to look at in the city. Yeah, well this is the original kitchen. The kitchen space originally was this corridor and the room you're standing in now. In the 1800s they extended it and they built a separate kitchen in the servants' quarter for the servants to eat. Originally when the house was built, the servants would have eaten in the great hall with the whole family half the time. Because practicality's sake, you just have your food while you're conducting your business. But the great hall was essentially the offices, so that was where he gave out the wages, he dealt with the staff and all that. You're telling I know, yeah. It's a box mangler that. So that's what you did with that was the large linens, to dry them out, you put them down on the bottom of it, to the roll of the arm, and then you weigh the box with rocks. So the weight pretty heavy. And then you can just move it across it, roll the rollers off the linen and mangled. Essentially dried them out and actually find it. That's a sugar locker, because sugar in Jacobean times would have been incredibly valuable, and so the servants would have been nicking a bit of that sugar to run a bit of sweetness in the bodies. So they put them behind the safe. Yeah. And it was sugar cones, and they needed a sugar nipper to actually break up the sugar, which is what the voice on the table there. This is the 17th century linen press as well. This is older than that, it's only got quite like 200 years, but that was well used. This was used in Aston Hall. I don't know if this is original to Aston Hall, but it's just a standard linen press. Yeah, that's everything. Continue to enjoy the hall.
Cheers,
No, this is actually sick. Old fence, just like Auschwitz. I'd definitely work here. Right. There we go. Used to eat.
stick on.
Butler's pants. Definitely work, yeah. This used to be. Just stays. Can't believe that's it. That's just a tool. You see there? Oh, it's probably locked it down. Come on. Small dining room. This is the backyard. 302 an hour before it closes. Wow. Yes, it's a little bit. Very nice. That's the back garden. Could the back garden get in there? Like, came out.